Welcome to Booze and Bourbon, a podcast where we talk about all things paranormal, and bourbon too. Now, here are your two ghostess hostesses with the mostest, Kim and Jen.
Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Booze and Bourbon. I'm Jen. This is Kim.
Hey.
And a special guest, very special guest, named Chelsea.
Hi.
Hi, Chelsea. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Crazy topic. It's zombies, if you haven't read the episode yet. And does it fall under being within the realm of the paranormal? I think so. It's unexplained, so I guess that kind of makes it paranormal.
For sure. I think it's totally paranormal.
Yeah, I do too, because it's just completely not normal. So for all of our listeners on this episode, as Jen said, we have a very special guest. She is a colleague on the TV show Haunted. She's a YouTuber, a filmmaker, and like I said, our friend, Chelsea Comeau. So, Chelsea, this is your official welcome into Booze and Bourbon.
This is exciting.
Whoa.
I love it.
I know. And this has kind of been a long time coming because one of the very first conversations that I had with you, we talked about zombies and I knew that you were really into it. And not only are you a really big fan of The Walking Dead, but you've met a whole bunch of people from The Walking Dead, which is very cool. So I couldn't think of anybody better to discuss this topic with than you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's the first thing I usually bring up when I meet someone new. I'm like, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. You will not find a bigger fan near you, I don't think.
That's amazing. And before the show, you said you were getting into another show. It took you a few tries, but you feel like it's relevant right now. What's that?
Yeah, so I've been waiting to watch Fear the Walking Dead because I wanted more seasons to come out before I binge watched it. And it took me 5 times to watch the first episode. And I don't know why it took me that long, but I just decided the other day I'm going to watch this. And it's weirdly tying into what's happening in the world right now. Like the first few episodes, it's like the beginning of their pandemic. And I'm like, this is kind of what happened at the beginning of our pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's very eerily relevant then.
Yeah, if the zombie apocalypse happened today, I think that's what would happen.
Oh, great.
I think they got it spot on. Yeah.
We should all watch it just so we're aware, just in case.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea.
And Chelsea, as you know, Jen and I typically sip on some whiskey for the show. I chose Maker's 46 because the bottle, like the top of the bottle, it looks like blood. It just seemed...
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I started with bourbon cream in my coffee this morning, just to warm up the day.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also found I had a bottle of Robert Mondavi red wine that's aged in bourbon barrels. So I felt appropriate because it looks like blood and had a little bourbon in there at one point.
Right. It's fantastic. Chelsea, do you have a zombie-proof poison?
Right now, I am super into the coffee rum cream from Coldstream Clear. It is so good. And that is probably my drink of choice right now.
Love it. I have not tried it yet. I saw it in one of your posts, though. And then my husband actually got a maple rum cream that's made from Ironwork distilleries here in Lunenburg.
Yeah.
So he just picked that up yesterday, and we are saving that for a very special morning.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. So now that we've all sort of taken a sip of our yummy, delicious goodies, it's time to play a little game. Are you ready, Chelsea?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
We're going to play Would You Rather.
Okay, so to keep it on topic, Jen.
Yes.
Would you rather take out a horde of zombies yourself or have someone help you and be in debt to them, to a complete stranger during the apocalypse? Think about this. Is it safe to be in debt?
No.
But is it more dangerous to take out a horde of zombies by yourself? I'm going to say like 20 zombies.
20.
Yeah. It's doable. I know it's doable.
Do I have enough weaponry to get me through the 20 or?
You know what? That's up to you. Whatever you choose as a weapon.
I'm going to try to take out the 20 myself.
Okay.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that.
I mean, they don't move as fast as me, so I would hope that I'll be okay. So we'll just see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen, you've got built-in guns in those biceps anyway. You're good.
Oh, yeah. You could just snap.
Choke out zombies?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sweet. So, Kim,
Mm-hmm.
I never know if mine's going to be offside or not, but like,
Usually is. What's going to be different
I was
today?
trying to tame it down, but I'm just not sure with like, I've read a bit on zombies and I did also watch The Walking Dead, but here's the thing. You're a zombie, but would you rather be a zombie that only is attracted to eating animals or is only after the male meat?
Okay, so I guess in my zombie life, I'm single.
Yes.
Well, since being a cannibal isn't high on my priority list,
Yes.
I think I'll just go with animals because, I mean, I'm not a vegetarian. I do like bacon. I like beef. I like turkey. I like chickens. So I'm just going to
What
stick
about
with
cats
what
and
I
dogs,
know.
though?
No, that's
Those
where I
are-
draw the line.
Those are on the menu, though. So, I mean,
I mean, it's the apocalypse. You got to do what you got to do.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Yep. I'd be for it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
wouldn't look at the collar of the dog to see if it had like a name. I'd rather my dog to be nameless.
Okay. Great.
All right. Well, keeping on that topic, actually, Chelsea, if it was the
Yes.
apocalypse and you were really strategic in having like a zombie shelter, what is your go-to canned food? Is it Spam or is it canned peas?
Oh, definitely canned peas. There's something about Spam that I'm like, that's not good. That's not natural. There's something in there that's not right. So definitely the canned peas, and I like peas, so I'll take the
Okay.
peas over Spam any day.
Okay, good.
Great.
I know. My dad actually used to eat Spam in a sandwich, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like
What did he put it with? Like just straight Spam?
mayonnaise and bread.
Oh,
No.
Yeah. So just after the break, we're going to get into all of today's main stories, which of course is all about zombies. Stay tuned.
welcome back, everybody. Let's dive into some exciting zombie jazz.
The belief in zombies and the desire to believe in them could be because when we think of them, there's a glimmer of hope that the human body can function without a soul, that a human body lacking consciousness can actually imitate the movements of a human body with consciousness, and that a dead person has the ability to come back to life. Philosophers like Todd Moody and David Chalmers have believed the idea of zombies is not that far-fetched. The first mention of zombies in literature can be dated back to 1697, where they are described as spirits or ghosts in literature. Then seeing zombies on screen began in 1932 with the release of the film White Zombie. And then we have to mention other characters such as Frankenstein and Dracula, who appeared around the same time. These depictions of flesh-eating, bloodthirsty zombies are quite different from the earlier depictions in the 1697 literature. But as the years have gone on and technology has improved, zombies have appeared more gruesome and gory. Yes. But honestly, what is more terrifying than the glimmer of hope that zombies could exist? What's more terrifying is that with enough research, you begin to realize that zombies actually do exist, just maybe not in the exact form that you're probably thinking of. In the Haitian religion of voodoo, not to be confused with voodoo, the New Orleans rendition of the religion, which is a variation of hoodoo and conjure, there are sorcerers for hire called bokors, who will turn people into zombies for the right price, but not with magic. Nope, with chemistry instead. As a voodoo practitioner, Dorian David Lee describes, bokors administer zombie powders, which is a mix of various poisons and hallucinogens, to a certain individual or victim. And through this, the bokor is able to create a complacent, paralyzed, and brain-damaged human. These zombies are used by the bokors and are sentenced to a life of servitude, doing whatever the bokors command. Bokors aren't the only ones with this ability to turn people into zombies. There are also secret societies within the religion that use the powders as a form of punishment. Since killing is forbidden in the most common form of voodoo, the societies punish those who commit crimes punishable by death by turning them into zombies in Haiti. The zombies themselves are not feared, but the thought of being turned into a zombie against your own will would be and should be feared. Chelsea, tell me exactly what has gotten you into this and what makes your brain tingle about all of the zombie talk.
Okay, definitely Walking Dead got me into this. And the funny thing is, okay, this is really interesting to me because I really couldn't deal with the fact that zombies could be a thing. I hated the idea of watching a film or a show and it had zombies in it. It freaked me out so much. But then I started watching The Walking Dead and that all changed. I love it. I'm so into it right now. I've been into it for the past 4 years. Since then, I've been looking into it more and more. It's just an interesting thing to me because it's not that far-fetched. You just read that article and it's totally doable. People have been able to make zombified humans in a way, and it's really freaky.
It is really freaky because we're all going through this pandemic right now. And if you think about it, coronavirus turned out to be kind of like the flu. But what if it was something else that was something that did make you paralyzed and did make you brain dead? Then sure, maybe it isn't so far-fetched at all.
And I mean, if that was to happen, apparently you're the one that we should get on our team. Because I've heard that you might have read a book, Zombie Survival Guide. So what would be the most terrifying story from that?
The most terrifying? Well, okay, I have the book here in front of me. All right. And I honestly think the most terrifying one is AD 1893, French North Africa. There's a story that happens there that really freaks me out. And I'm like, that's insane to me. So in this story, there's a French legion that is in a fort. And after they've been there for a while, all of a sudden, some people start to show up at their door. And they notice right away that these are not normal people and they're actually zombies. They're shooting them in the chest because they're not trained. Apparently in this story, they weren't trained to shoot in the head. They were just shoot the heart, kill them right away like that. And then by accident, they shot one in the head and it killed them. But they couldn't find a way to kill them all. There were so many zombies at their door that they ran out of ammo really fast and they just couldn't find a way to kill them because there was only one door into the fort and they obviously couldn't open it. It would let all the zombies in. So after 3 years of them being stuck in this fort, they decided, okay, we need to make a plan here. So what they did is they went up on the walls of the fort. It was a square fort. They went up on the walls. Their commander let the zombies in, and then they pulled their commander up on the wall so that no zombies could get up. They made sure all the ladders and everything were pushed down, no way up. They climbed down their wall and locked the zombies into their fort. So that's how they got out. After no one came to save them, they were hoping that someone would come looking for them, but nobody came looking. They finally went back to their commanding officer, and then the commanding officer is like, you abandoned your fort. We're going to make you deserters. You've deserted us. That's it. Nobody went to check on it. Nothing happened from there. But that, apparently this is from a journal that someone wrote. So it's really creepy that could have happened.
That is so terrifying.
That they're just sitting there chilling inside this fort, waiting for somebody to come find them.
Yeah, right?
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
They're going to be hungry.
Oh, for sure. Because they don't die. They just want to eat you.
It's not good.
Remind me not to go adventuring or ghost hunting in North Africa. Over 100 years of them clamoring, trying to get human flesh.
Yeah.
Not good. Okay, so that was your most terrifying one. And that sounds like it eerily could be real. What are some other ones, Chelsea, that you really like from that book?
There's another one. 3000 BC, Hierakonpolis, Egypt. And basically what happened was these forensic experts went into the tomb of an Egyptian pyramid and they found this body outside of its sarcophagus and it was just laying there. And around the sarcophagus, you saw all these scratch marks, hundreds and hundreds of scratch marks on the wall. And they determined that it was actually the corpse that was on the ground that had done these scratch marks over hundreds of years, not just like overnight. This was over hundreds of years, like that they were like scratching at this wall. And after they did an autopsy on the body, they were like, yeah, it's definitely, there was something weird with this body, and it just like came back to life, and it was like scratching at the wall. And then they're like, well, Egyptians used to take out the brain anyway to put them into the sarcophagus. And they're like, maybe that's why they would do it. It's because something happened that they would come back to life and, you know, scratch at the wall. But
yeah, what if there was this crazy bacteria back then? And for some reason, like, the only way to ensure that somebody was actually dead and wouldn't come back to life was to remove not just their brains, but all of their organs through the nose. Yeah.
That would suck. You're down there just scratching away.
Yeah.
Gone.
See, something like that would totally make me go down a rabbit hole with conspiracy theories and stuff, which admittedly I've gone down over the past week, but it can be very time consuming.
Oh, for sure.
I don't like that one, Chelsea.
No, I don't like that one either.
Do you have a happier one for us?
No.
Happy zombie stories.
Yeah, so happy. I do have one more that I found really interesting because it's so close to us in terms of date. So in 1992, at Joshua Tree National Park, there was an incident. Several hikers and day trippers to this desert park reported an abandoned tent and gear just off the main road. Park rangers saw footprints heading off towards a rock. Investigating the reports found a body of a young woman, her head caved in by a large rock, and her body covered with human bite marks. A further investigation revealed her to be Sharon Parsons of Oxnard, California. She and her boyfriend, Patrick McDonald, had been camping at Joshua Tree for several days. Although McDonald's body was never found, a lump of chewed flesh matching his blood type was found lodged in Sharon's esophagus. However, traces of skin and flesh from under her fingernails matched a third party, Devin Martin, a loner and wildlife photographer whose disappearance in the park went unreported for several weeks. One can only speculate as to their meeting. And the subsequent chain of events, Devin Martin was never found. Neither was Patrick McDonald. However, a video security camera captured what looked like McDonald at a gas station in Diamond Park. McDonald's car was last seen heading west towards Los Angeles. Apparently, she was crazy and turned into a zombie and ate them.
Damn.
What a tasty treat.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think back, this is kind of off topic, but not, remember the Alive movie where the plane crashes in the mountains?
And he has to smash his own arm off?
And then one of them eats the other one's butt because they're like, that's the most meaty place on you. So like, that's all I think of. I'm like, well, what part would I eat if like, I don't know. I'm going to have to go for the butt. Like it just seems more like burger meat. Does that make sense? No?
Would that be like a thick meat? Because it's like the biggest muscle on our body.
Like a steak.
So the apocalypse happens tomorrow. All right. What do you do? What's the first thing you would do?
I'm so not prepared. It happens tomorrow?
Yeah, if it happened now, what do you do?
Like how much time do I have to gather things?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it happens right now. So can I touch on Fear of the Walking Dead a little bit for you guys to answer this question? It took them probably, I want to say like 7 days to really realize that the apocalypse is happening. Mm-hmm. But during those 7 days, no one was saying anything. It was happening around the world and everyone was just like, oh, it's just, a man on drugs or this on drugs. And then the cops knew what was happening and like the hospitals knew what was happening, but no one was saying anything and civilians didn't know. So let's say that happens because I feel like that's what would happen. So you have 7 days of stories on the news of like this stuff going down. The second you hear it, do you grab stuff and go, or do you wait it out? Would you be like, the cops will handle it?
No, not waiting. No cops.
Good.
I am raiding my dad's gun collection Well, I'm probably bringing him with me anyway, but I would definitely pack whatever I can in a bag, some food, as much food as possible, actually, because I get really hungry, and take all of his hunting gear. And then because no one actually knows where my gym is yet, and it's a business in a basement that no one can really tell, I would let everyone in there, of my family, of course, and keep us there instead of being in a house, because then I feel like no one would look for us in there, because it would just look like a weird basement in the bottom of a building that no one would technically be in.
Nice.
And then I'd just play like range practice with my dad out the window at all the zombies as they walk by.
It's a pretty good plan.
That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely not as prepared as Jen might be. I would not wait it out. I would start gathering things. I would have to make sure I had like kindling, matches, fuel.
Those are important.
Yeah. And also alcohol. Not because it would just like numb the pain, but it would be a good like sterilizer or astringent if I got a wound or anything.
That's right.
So yeah, so I'd need that. Where I'd go though, I mean, right now that it's winter, it makes it really difficult, but I think the ideal location would be the boat. So I'd try to get that in the water, fill it up with some gas.
So walkers, zombies, can survive in the water because their brain isn't damaged that way. They just get full of water and that's it. So they could technically make their way over to you. But the thing that's probably the most dangerous for that is other people on other boats. So definitely watch out for those other people. You never know who's going to come in and try to take over your stuff.
Right. Good point. I'm going to have an embarrassing confession right now because like I look back at it now and I'm like, my God, where was your mind? But I guess it was just all of the unknown. So when the pandemic first started, I was having nightmares about basically an apocalypse happening where I felt like, you know, maybe we should all be covering up our windows. Maybe we should all be getting our gun licenses. Maybe we should all become very, very aware of like our alarm systems and how that all works. Because I was like, God, like if a bunch of people lose their jobs and people are going to be poor, people are going to send out like the young adolescents to go find food for the rest of the family. So they're going to like break into whoever's house they think has a lot of food or valuable things. So I guess in my own mind, like looking back, it was a little much why I was having those dreams because like we didn't get anywhere close to that. But it is certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
But if it makes you feel better, I'm sure the location that you're at right now would be way better than Dartmouth.
Yeah, I would get out of the city.
Just saying.
I would not stay in the city.
Best place for that.
You've definitely put a little seed in my brain there, Chelsea. I feel like I need to start watching some of this stuff. I watched the first season of The Walking Dead. My brother is obsessed. And then I just didn't go any further, but I feel like I need to go back.
Binge it. It's such a good binge show. I've binged it like 11 to 13 times from season 1 to 6. And then the other seasons like a few times.
Dang.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I have a question for you. Given what you do for your career, Chelsea, are there certain elements of The Walking Dead that inspire you as a filmmaker?
Yeah, for sure.
Probably not just the topic alone, but when it comes to like the cinematography and everything.
Yeah, I love the way they light stuff. Like they do a lot of nighttime lighting, and I wish they would put out a book of just a picture of like how they have their light set up. So I can just study that because it is so well done. And I believe they shoot on film. So it just looks amazing. There was an article that came out after The Last Divide came out, a film I shot. And it's funny because in the article, it was like, this has reminiscence of like how The Walking Dead would shoot. Because like it's an apocalypse film, it's The Last Divide. So like I definitely pull inspiration from The Walking Dead in my everyday life.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was amazing to finally have you on the show.
So
Thank
fun.
you.
I wasn't really prepared for the questions either. Like, what would I do if there were zombies? Now I have to think about it. Now I would have to have a plan. Like, I feel like I need to be more prepared.
I've thought about this so much. Like, I would definitely go to my hometown, gather my family, go to my grandmother's. There's plenty of land to see. Like, you want to be able to see what's happening in front of you. So, like, yeah, I've thought about this too much.
I think it's great to be prepared. Oh my God. Honestly, you just never know. And like you said, this kind of stuff's pretty relevant right now.
Yeah. Well, we definitely appreciate you joining us today. But for all of our listeners, where can they find you via social media or even on YouTube as well?
On YouTube, you can find me by putting my name in, Chelsea Comeau, or youtube.com/Chelsea Comeau Music. And on Instagram and Twitter, you can just put in Chelsea Comeau and I should show up.
Yes.
Sweet.
Jen, if people want to subscribe to us or find us on social media, where can they do both?
We are on Facebook, of course, Booze and Bourbon, the podcast, Insta-famous, Booze and Bourbon, and any lovely provider of podcasts out there. You can add us on there, and as well as the ABV network, we are part of them. So if you do not have an app to listen to a podcast on, add us on there.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing to mention is you can actually see all three of us on Eastlink TV on Haunted.
Yeah.
Oh, look at us.
And actually, an episode that came out not that long ago, the three of us were hovering around a Ouija board. So that's cool.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much, Chelsea, for coming on the show. It was just a delight to have you. And I'm so glad that you're our friend because now I feel that much more prepared should the zombie apocalypse happen.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So we will be back for an all new episode next Friday. Thanks for listening.
Booze and Bourbon is part of the ABV network. For more information or to advertise on the show, please head over to abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.